baby he'd named held in his arm, and then he set out, hobbling on swollen feet, westward into the heart of the Elan. He did not need to look back to see that the others were following. Those who could, did. The ribbers would come for the rest. He'd not asked to be the head of the snake. He'd not asked for anything. But he was the tallest, and might be he was the oldest. Might be he was 13, could be he was 14. Behind him, Badal said, "And walks he starts out of that morning with held in his arms, and his ribby tail it snakes out like a tongue from the sun. You need the longest tongue when searching for water like the sun likes to do." Badal watched him for a time, watched as the others fell into his wake. She would join the ribby snake soon enough. She blew at the flies, but of course they came right back, clustering round the sores, puffing her lips, hopping up to lick at the corners of her eyes. She had been a beauty once, with these green eyes and her long fair hair like tresses of gold. But beauty bought smiles for only so long. When the larder gapes empty, beauty gets smudged. "And the flies," she whispered, "make patterns of suffering, and suffering is ugly." She watched Rut. He was the head of the snake. He was the fangs, too, but that last bit was for her alone, her private joke. This snake had forgotten how to eat. She'd been among the ones who'd come up from the south, from the husks of homes in Corbantz, Crosis, and Canros, even the Isles of Otpelas. Some, like her, had walked along the coast of the Palacia Sea, and then to the western edge of Stet, which had once been a great forest, and there they found the wooden road, Stump Road they sometimes called it. Trees cut on end to make flat circles, pounded into rows that went on and on. Other children then arrived from Stet itself, having walked the old stream beds wending through the grey tangle of shattered treefall and diseased shrubs. There were signs that Stet had once been a forest, to match its old name, which was Forest Stet, but Badal was not entirely convinced. All she could see was a gouged wasteland, ruined and ravaged. There were no trees standing anywhere. They called it Stump Road, but other times it was Forest Road, and that too was a private joke. Of course, someone had needed lots of trees to make the road, so maybe there really had once been a forest there, but it was gone now. At the northern edge of Stet, facing out onto the Elan plain, they had come upon another column of children, and a day later yet another one joined them, down from the north, from Collantz itself, and at the head of this one there had been Rut, carrying Held. Tall, his shoulders, elbows, knees, and ankles protruding, and the skin round them slack and stretched. He had large, luminous eyes. He still had all his teeth, and when the morning arrived, each morning he was there, at the head. The fangs and the rest just followed. They all believed he knew where he was going, but they didn't ask him, since the belief was more important than the truth, which was that he was just as lost as all the rest. "All day Rut holds Held and keeps her wrapped in his shadow. It's hard not to love Rut, but Held doesn't, and no one loves Held but Rut." Visto had come from Okan. When the Starvers and the bone-skinned Inquisitors marched on the city, his mother had sent him running, hand in hand with his sister, who was 2 years older than he was, and they'd run down streets between burning buildings, and screams filled the night, and the Starvers kicked in doors and dragged people out and did terrible things to them, while the bone-skins watched on and said it was necessary. Everything here was necessary. They'd pulled his sister out of his grip, and it was her scream that still echoed in his skull. Each night since then, he had ridden it on the road of sleep, from the moment his exhaustion took him until the moment he awoke to the dawn's pale face. He ran for what seemed forever, westward and away from the Starvers, eating what he could, savaged by thirst, and when he'd outdistanced the Starvers, the ribbers showed up, huge packs of gaunt dogs with red-rimmed eyes and no fear of anything. And then the fathers, all wrapped in black, who plunged into the ragged camps on the roads and stole children away. And once he and a few others had come upon one of their old night holds, and had seen for themselves the small split bones mottled